boom, 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 boom. Good morning. Like this video. Let's talk about this. The legacy. The legacy. Dig Bill, man. It's something like my regular, man. I just don't get a chance to do it much. Good morning, everybody that's here. Fred. Y'all make sure y'all share this live. We're going to kick it a minute. I got two topics for y'all. Customer service. She's a funny motherfucker, man. He said a good arrogant one. Big Nats. This ain't no, I don't wear minks. Little niggas wear minks. I don't wear minks. These carrots are divine. You get a dozen for a dime. Fred, what's going on? Vinny, are you serious? This shit like 10 years old, man. I got a few of them and shit. I got 3 of them. Probably 10 than that. My man said I'm a nigga that Big Nephew, all right. Start betting on the Lakers. You'll be all right. Good morning to everybody that's here. Y'all share this live. I got something, I don't know, sentimental for y'all. It means something to me. I showed these pictures on Instagram last night. It's magic. Let's talk about the Fat Boys for a minute, man. Let's talk about the Fat Boys. I'm not absolutely sure yet, but I know I did. Ray Zellis, shout out Ray Zellis. One of Marky D's last interviews is right here on Gully TV. I don't know if y'all caught it, but it's a Prince Marky D interview on here, 33 minutes long. Yeah, the thing about my platform, I don't interview everybody that's hot or whoever's hot and shit like that. I interview the niggas that I like. The people whose music means something to me. That's how Prince Marky D ended up on this platform and shit. That shit meant something to me. It really did. If I'm not mistaken, Prince Marky D might be the first Puerto Rican rap superstar in hip hop. You know what I mean? He said all the Fat Boys are still alive. No, unfortunately, we only have one left. And we need drink champs. To interview Kool Rock Ski. It's only right. That's necessary. That's official. He said, I remember them having I was told, because I was in some conversations last night. We looked up some things. They like the first rap artist to have their own motion picture in 1987. It was called Disorderlies. Solo rap artist to have a movie. Before that, of course, Crush Groove. That was a whole bunch of people. Wild Style, B Street. Those were all a whole bunch of people and shit. The the Fat Boys wasn't, you know what's funny? I remember when it wasn't a lot of rappers, it might have been like 6 rappers. I mean, it was probably more than that, but I'm talking about 6 that meant something. Houdini, Run DMC, Fat Boys, LL Cool J. You know what I mean? You could count them on your hand and shit. And them niggas was just as official. They music was just as official as everybody else's. It was just as hot as Run DMC. It was just as hot as Curtis Blow and shit. Like, we wanted to hear that shit. He said, right, that's it. Prince Marky D also produced a lot of hit records. For some reason, it's not coming to my to mind who he produced for, but he didn't just produce. Prince Marky D did a solo project too. Yeah, they was originally called the Disco 3. If you've seen the movie Crush Groove, they were projected to be like the proteges of Curtis Blow. As a matter of fact, if you watch Curtis Blow music video, Basketball, you'll see them in there doing the Fat Boys dance and shit. He said that's a classic movie from the John Candy era. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good morning. I'm just getting started. We're going to talk about Honeykomb Brazy in a minute. I want to put some more emphasis on the death of Prince Marky D and how necessary it is for us to interview these guys and fellowship and touch base with them. Prince Marky D was only 52 years old. That was fucked up. He didn't even get to be here a long time. But we need to start. Let's stop focusing on the gang shit, right? Let's leave the gang shit alone. Leave the violent shit alone. And let's try to work on preserving this shit. If we don't preserve this shit, it's not going to be here. It won't be here. There's things that's going on that can ruin and cause detriment to what we build and shit. You see what I'm saying? He said, Mary J. Blige, what's the 411? He worked on and other hits. Marky D produced a lot of Sony artists like J-Lo. Incredible. And he could rap his ass off. I was listening to a few songs last night. If you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on IG, I did my little rendition of a tribute to Prince Marky D and the Fat Boys. I posted some shit. If you listen to it, or if you're familiar with the music, you know that he could rap. I think he was the first Puerto Rican rap star and shit. Hits. Them niggas had hits. All You Can Eat. Can You Feel It? In Jail. Fat Boys Are Back. It's more, man. Them niggas had hits. My brother had that album. The album was them eating a big ass slice of pizza or some shit, man. I remember just sitting there looking at their sneakers. Fat Boys always was good for a good pair of shell toes or some Clyde Pumas with the fat laces in there. You know what I mean? True blue B-boys from top to bottom and fly. Dapper Dan shit, truck jewelry. I don't think oh, Biggie Smalls had to have been a fan of the Fat Boys because he said to all my ladies in the place with style and grace. That style and grace line belonged to Crew Rock Ski. I got pizzazz, style and grace, but just one slight problem. He's a little overweight. Biggie Smalls is definitely a Fat Boys fan, being from Brooklyn. I wanted to be the platform to get on here and rant on behalf of them. I wanted to get on here and rant on behalf of them because I love them. They was a part of my childhood, and they had some really, really good music. Seeing them guys on, I don't know, MTV, shit like that, award ceremony, seeing them niggas walk out on the stage, them 3 fat niggas was a great representation of hip hop music and culture. The Fresh Game, man. The Fresh Game. There was some fat fly niggas, man. Them niggas kept that shit on. If you go look at old pictures of the Human Beatbox. Fat fly guy, man. Gazelle frames, diamonds all in them and shit. Big truck jewelry. 7X Louis Vuitton jacket. Oh, man. Hey, whatever your name is, I can't pronounce it from the D. Y'all ain't the only ones that do this, man. This shit part of my heritage and shit. My mom and daddy wore furs to their ankles at the Joe Frazier Ali fights in the 70s. I got pictures and shit. Straight up. My man said I wore gazelles because of them. I was looking at this picture of them yesterday, man. Them niggas had everything that they had on, probably in like 1985. You could put that shit on right now and rock that shit. You could. I love them guys, man. They a big part of my childhood and shit. Like I said, I remember when it was only a handful of rappers. I know for a fact being around 7 years old, it was somehow I got my hands on an 8-track radio, right? It was like looked like a little box or whatever with the knobs on it. And this was one of them joints. All you had to do was just plug some wire into a speaker and you would get sound. It would work and shit. So this 8-track was one of my early science projects. But anyway, this 8-track that I had a record button on it. And you couldn't do nothing, but it wasn't no hip hop programming on the radio all like that. You couldn't listen to nothing. I would be listening to shit like American Bandstand or Casey Kasem's Top 100 Countdown. And during listening to shit like that, you might hear Prince, Michael Jackson, or the Fat Boys of Run DMC and shit. If you sat there and listening to the shit basically all day, what's funny and shit is when the Fat Boys came around, it wasn't even enough music to rock a whole hip hop party and shit. Hip hop parties, they wasn't just playing hip hop. It wasn't enough at the time and shit. They was playing shit like Let the Music Play from Shannon. That's a song. That's kind of like an R&B song, but that's a fucking hip hop track. Let the music play. That's a hip hop track. Fat Boys, man, there's so much that can be said about them. For real. And I'm pretty sure they made a lot of the big guys in the world. I'm pretty sure they made guys comfortable being that size and shit. I heard it once said having ski in your name meant something. I got to ask one of the elders from New York, maybe Lord Jamar or something like that. Why did everybody have ski attached to their name back then and shit? My man said Shannon, Debbie Deb, wife, and I was listening last night to Shannon. What y'all know about Shannon, man? I had an older brother and shit, so I would hear that shit. Niggas was dancing and shit like that. Niggas was break dancing to Shannon and shit. Niggas was windmilling and shit like that to that. He said that was the wave back then. We got to preserve this culture, man. There's too much shit going on that could destroy this shit. Let's talk about homeboy, Honeykomb Brazy. Let's talk about Honeykomb Brazy. Let's talk about being evil and projecting bad energy from your lips. Shit that you say out your mouth can become a part of your reality. Y'all check this crazy shit out right here, right? Honeykomb Brazy got a song called Yellow Things. I seen people talking about it in my comments. I only seen him on World Star before. I never really listened to his music, never paid no attention to him. There's too many rappers out here right now. Anyway, I'm listening to the song, and after a second or two into it, I could tell this song is about Percocets. It's about pills and syrup or some shit, yellow syrup, right? Or perks or some shit. This is a degenerate song. During that song, he talked about killing, and I really did it. That's the hook, killing, and I really did it. And then he talked about trying to get somebody's kid, and if you can't get the kid, get your grandma, knock her top off, and then kick your grandpa, and all this crazy, stupid shit. It's almost like somebody listened to that record He says, first time hearing that song, it was kind of fire. I ain't gonna lie, it do slap. But You got to be careful what the fuck you saying out your mouth. It's like the people who he had an issue with was listening to that shit. I don't, I don't. That's some third world country shit, man. Niggas be like, yo, that shit happened in Jamaica and shit like that all the time. But those are different places and shit. I don't believe savagery like that is all the way bred in the United States unless it's probably money or pride involved and shit. Um, I don't even know when you wake up the next day and shit. When you wake up the next day after somebody that killed your family and shit, where do you go from there? What is it? What do you do? What do you do? He said, Alabama's a third world country. Is that right? I tell you something that I learned from being Gully TV, from traveling and interviewing and doing marketing for independent companies and unsigned artists and shit like that. I done been in some around Georgia. They got backwood areas. When you get down around Georgia, when you get to the South, put it this way, everybody ain't in a major city. It's some niggas that was born in the woods, black people, niggas that was born in the woods. I'm serious. I'm talking about born in the deep backwoods. These niggas getting money in these woods and shit. I didn't believe it until I seen it myself. You'll meet rich motherfuckers, rich niggas, rich country niggas in these little ass towns. Got money from now on. These niggas go, they will like come to Atlanta, shop in Lenox Mall, designer down, ice, and then go back into the woods to where them country roads and shit, where the fuck they from and shit. And they be back there busting heads. Them niggas in these little spots is busting heads. Yeah. He said the richest slave cities are the country's poorest. Hmm. When I encountered this shit, I'm like, damn, these niggas got all this money back here in these woods, yo. He said Mississippi Delta. I seen the shit for myself, man. Niggas living in trailers. Niggas living in the woods for real. I'm not joking. Rapping like a motherfucker, man. Rapping like a motherfucker. Recording and doing a thing. But they showed up from the country. I think Jeezy is like one of them niggas. The types of guys that I'm describing these niggas to be in the woods, get money and shit like that. I think Jeezy is like, I think that's what Jeezy was telling us he was and shit when he came out. Word. He said all his kin are lifers. Miss Lovely, good morning. Y'all share this video. We just getting started. Alabama's not a third world country. I'm from Mobile. My parents just retired in Mobile. Honeykomb Brazy is from Pritchard, not Mobile. I told you he's from one of these small town niggas. I told you these niggas out the woods, they be getting it in. They be getting it in. He said Jeezy never claimed Atlanta. If you heard Jeezy when he first came out, Jeezy was, well, shit, he got videos on the internet when he was a country nigga. He said they killed your family. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. The neighbors said they heard gunshots, then an explosion and shit. In 2021, how does this happen and don't nobody get a description of the car? Nobody seen nothing pull off. Like nobody seen no whip pulling off. Nobody got the ring lights, the fucking surveillance as they drive down the street. Like, what the fuck? He said Jeezy's from Macon. BMF was from Atlanta and put him on. He said that, well, that's where the country should come in. Mobile and Pritchard, the same city technically. It's like College Park, person claiming Atlanta. Same thing. Oh, I got it. They thought they were hiding him. I just don't understand how you could do this to someone. When you look at these people that you about to murder, they don't look like your auntie. You don't got a sweet aunt that look like this. I mean, they might not physically look alike, but you don't have an aunt who has a soft voice like this, you know, pleading for life, or you don't got no uncle, man, like that you love and care about and shit that would just make you say, they ain't got nothing to do with this shit. We in the wrong house. Let's split. Like, I don't understand at all. He said, what if it was cartel shit though? I don't know. I'm trying to establish what did the family have to do with it and shit. Like, that's not no amount of money that's worth that, that's worth doing that. Whoever did that need to be held accountable. Them is black people. They look just like the fuck us. They was innocent. They had nothing to do with that shit. These niggas need to go to the penitentiary for that shit. Somebody need to tell on these niggas. Straight up. It'd be too much. Niggas do too much low life shit and then run and hide behind the code and shit. Something needs to happen about that. That we can't just we can't accept this, y'all. People in this chat, we can't accept this. You know what I mean? They done already been killing kids for a minute in Chicago, and now they moved on to grandparents. It's like they trying to erase. He said, y'all dudes are stupid. They don't care, Gully. God gonna fix this shit. God gonna punish evil niggas. You're not gonna get away with what you're doing. Peoples 212 said they not innocent. It comes with the game. I'm kicking your ignorant ass out my motherfucking chat. I don't like niggas like you. I hate dumbass niggas. It comes with the game. That a bitch. Get your goofy ass up out of here. You're gone. Anybody else got some dumb shit to say? I just said these black people we talking about. That was somebody's mother. The fuck is wrong with you? Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Good morning. Gully, that's regular. A mobile picture. Is it underreported? Is it underreported that y'all back there killing each other's families and shit like that? Is it underreported? I know that. Y'all seen the movie, y'all seen Tales from the Hood back in the day, right? Y'all seen Tales from the Hood back in the day? And it was this scene where I forget the little guy's name. It was Gangster D or Killer D or some shit like that. He runs into the Aryan in jail. They in the hole. He runs to the Aryan. And the Aryan tell him how proud he is of everything that he's doing. He's like, what you talking about? He said, you know how y'all killing each other and shit like that. You don't have to worry about me, nigga. Shit, he told him. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? He said, I don't have to worry about you. You ain't got to worry about me, nigga. He said, Crazy K. Exactly. Everything that Aryan said in that scene, niggas is bringing that shit to life. As a matter of fact, it was a letter that they used to pass around in jail, and it was written from the Ku Klux Klan. I don't know if anybody in here ever seen that letter. Y'all ever seen the letter written from the Klan? And it said, thank you, niggas. It said, thank you, niggas, for all of the, for doing our job. And, before long, you won't be around here and we'll get to having sex with your women and shit because you won't be here to protect them and shit like that. Y'all remember that? Everything that they said, that paper, that piece of literature was being passed around when I was a kid. That was being passed around when I was a kid. So that means they done had 40 years of this practice. He said, yeah, I read that letter. They done had 40 years of this. He said, that's fake. Fuck that. It's real. The information contained in there is real. A black person might have wrote it. Whatever the case, it's real. It's real. There's a lot of rich black people there too. Rapper Young Blue moved to Mississippi because he was having shootouts in Mobile. It's so wild, like New Orleans, the news don't report it. So you mean they ain't only famous for football now? Alabama, that ain't just a football state. He said the first thing I thought about seeing them flames in that video was the Fred Hampton movie when they kept burning shit. Like, the fuck y'all get that idea from? The first thing that I thought about when I seen it, I heard the screaming. When I was a kid, my mom took me and my sister to see Mississippi Burning. Took us to see Mississippi Burning and at the movies and shit. And I remember watching that shit. I remember how it made me feel. I remember how I felt leaving there. And I probably never forget it. And I watched it one time, right? When I seen that fire, I immediately started to think about the fucking Ku Klux Klan and Mississippi Burning and shit like that. Gene Hackman, yeah. My mom immediately went to, I'm like, damn, man, they doing a job for him and shit. Like, this shit crazy. He said, you look like Ghost Array. I'm out of that class. I'm from that graduating class. If you was in the streets, 93, 94, shit like that, the army jackets, the furs and shit like that, that's second nature. Shout out to Herb McGruff. Melly 419 said that screaming was treacherous. That's what upset me, was the screaming. That really, really bothered me. I thought maybe the people's being burned alive. Something else I don't understand is how people so easily interact with the media and social media when going through tragedy. He tweeting, how do you find any space or any strength to like make Instagram posts? And then it was a girl on the news. She was like, that was my mom and dad and shit. She on there crying and talking and shit. I'm like, how do you even, who said that she had to get on here and do an interview with these people? Like, how are you even standing right now? You know what I mean? And you don't have to talk about it and shit. Like, whose idea was this? Niggas love fucking cameras, yo. Niggas love cameras. That's crazy. He said it was a woman screaming. Yeah, I posted the video right here on Gully TV. She was that screaming was too graphic. He said, I'm from North Florida. We got them backwoods you talking about. They got them around Atlanta too. They got them around Atlanta. Niggas in Georgia in the woods with them pit bulls. In the woods, them pit bulls. They got the pit bulls, the hammers, and work. He said, Gully, if that really bothered you, you wouldn't have niggas on your platform on that rap gangster shit. Everything that happened on here is history. Everything that you see me covering, it's been happened already and shit. I wasn't familiar with the murder unit until I believe last year or some shit like that. But that period of time when that music was out, I bought them records. I bought them records. I bought that Avarex. I bought that Cuban. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna cover that. That shit's a part of my motherfucking adolescence. Yeah. He said crocodiles are pit bulls. I ain't gonna leave that out either. Niggas be getting fed to crocs. In the South, fuck around. Down South, niggas been lit. All the gangster kingpins that came north was from the South. That's that slavery shit. Niggas be brutes. Family that suffer slavery, the cold live wires when they come up north. Frank Matthews and all these niggas from North Carolina and shit like that. Kenny Manson, of course I heard of Sable first. He said, feed you to the hogs in South Carolina. Get turned into a belt and boots. Those Florida swamps dangerous. I'm pretty sure they threw a few motherfuckers in the swamp. My man said, I won a sick Averix in a Blaze battle like 20 years ago. Still got it. You was in a Blaze battle. Hit me on Instagram, man. I want to kick it with you and talk to you about that. Who were you in that shit with? Good morning to everybody. Prince Marky D from the legendary Fat Boys passed away. And it's all about Mark right now. Oh. There's one fat boy left. He ain't even fat no more. He hasn't been fat for probably like 20 years, the last 20 years. That's Kool Rock Ski. Kool Rock Ski can walk amongst people and people wouldn't even notice him because he lost so much weight. He said heart failure. He was only 52 years old, man. Make sure y'all check out the interview I did with Prince Marky D. Right here on this channel and shit. 30 minutes long. Ray Zella's Gully TV Pittsburgh put that together. He said, nigga got the hip-hop encyclopedia files. I'm supposed to. I'm not only a connoisseur, a participant. I'm a part of the hip-hop vanguard. I'm here to protect this shit from top to bottom and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got resource books, reference books, magazines, periodicals. I kept them from forever. There was no reason to throw them away. I even brought my magazines home from jail. Niggas thought I was leaving them the motherfucking sources and double XLs. No. They like, man, you see they try to make me feel so bad. Man, you serious? Man, I'm taking these the fuck home, pimp. I'm telling you. Putting these in the box. What's your favorite Fat Boy song? I think mine probably would be Can You Feel It? Me and my cousin used to kill that. We used to be singing that. That was the shit. He died a day before his birthday. Today is his birthday. My man Act One said, Can you feel it? Can you feel it? That was my shit. Can you feel it? I wonder who did their production way back then. They had some smacking ass beats. He said, Gully, I watched that video and called my grandma. I seen comments like that. Niggas were saying, yo, my mom told me about Disorderlies and I watched it last night. It's people who be in this chat who mothers and fathers is a part of the hip hop generation. So when something like this happened, when something happened to a legend, your mama tell you about that shit. That's crazy. That's crazy. Your mama say something about it. You know why? Your mama had them bamboo earrings. Your mom had them bamboo earrings. Your mom probably was trying to beatbox. The whole world was trying to do it. Henry Duran said 52 years old. Your mom probably used to beatbox, fam. That was like regular behavior growing up. Everybody had a beatbox. Let me hear what you got. A man said human beatbox. Jailhouse raps. All you can eat. You see M-Rat instigating that dude to talk shit about Haitian Jack. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something, right? The guys that I interviewed that's from islands and shit like that, that gun shit is almost a part of their culture. That's just something that they into. Haitian Jack is deported for shooting a motherfucker in a club on Melrose in Beverly Hills in the daytime, if I'm not mistaken. You dig what I'm saying? Um, his fresh game, flawless. Everybody know about that. His dime is like everything to make a player is right there intact. And from what I've seen personally, all of the elite, who's who, fuck with him from Shaquille O'Neal on down. Seriously. Gold hoop earrings and wicker chairs with the leathers. He said, you remember when Prince Marky D tried to come back out in 93 with the Averex jacket? Marky D did come back out. He came back out solo. And he had a record. I can't remember the name of it, but he had a record. It used to be on BET and shit. He had a record. He did a solo one. J Hud, what up? He said, my brothers are 48, 52, 53, and 55. Yeah, you had a house full of hip hop. I met them in Pittsburgh back in the day in East Liberty. Mia, shout out to Pittsburgh. Well, you was by David's. You was by David's Sneakers. Tony Anthems. Shout out to Am Pacino coming soon. He was a part of the regime with Yuck Mouth. Akron, Ohio MC put in a lot of work out there in the Bay and independently. My man said the God bodies raised me. If you see anybody saying anything about Haitian Jack right now, they doing it for views and trying to get noticed and shit. You know what I mean? Period. I watched that Hip Hop Uncovered, the first 2 episodes last night. I watched it. This is my critique of it. There's a guy on there, I think his name was Malcolm or some shit like that. He was talking about the guys on the back of the album cover, the paid in full album cover. This guy Malcolm, I think he's the executive producer of the show Empire with all them blades and shit, right? He was talking about the back of the paid in full album cover with 50 Cent and Killer Ben and all of them. He was talking about that shit. And the way that he was saying it was like he knew what the fuck he was talking about. It's like he knew what the fuck he was talking about. And I'm like, come on, man. Like this type of shit annoys me. Like, you know what I mean? But anyway, let me get the ashtray. Give me 1 second. That annoyed me. It's people in Hollywood and people in other places that want this shit. They want this shit now. They seen enough. They seen enough. They be watching YouTube. They be watching MREC. They be watching Queens Flip. They be watching my shit. They be watching Info Minds. They like, wow. Look at this. Fuck, look at this shit here. Like, this shit is big. And they sitting and watching. And they terrified of people like Alpo and shit like that. You know what I mean? But they see him on camera with Queen's Flip taking a picture. Or they know that I've interacted with him and shit like that. And they on a periphery and they want some play. So you're going to see a lot more of shows like Snowfall and different shit depicting our stories and our media and shit like that. But I'm a director, right? the hip hop uncovered, the message that they trying to convey is realness. The way that they shot it, I think it was too bright. It looked it too bright. It looked it too bright. Like it looked it too bright. It looked it too clean. You know what I'm saying? It looked it too like Beverly Hills and shit. Like it just turn the lights down. Who's the director? Turn the lights down. And I don't like this shot of Big U that y'all filming him with his hands on the table and you got his frame. I didn't like that shot. I thought they could have did a better shot of that. It's just little shit, that little camera shit, that's all. But they can't fuck with me. They can't fuck with me. That shit, in totality, that shit, Bimmy part was fire. Jack part was fire. Big U part was super fire. His stories are super fire. I found his stories real interesting. But nobody could ever point a camera at Haitian Jack and y'all gonna never find it interesting after what I did. I watched that shit, checking it out. A lot of them stories I heard before. When he said his dad called him the king of thieves, that shit was fucking hilarious. But y'all gonna, it don't get, no, not even close. Not even close. Not even close. Good morning to everybody. And I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes come out on the 19th. Today. The next 2 episodes come out tonight. The Alcoholics drop a weed strain called the Smokeaholics. Come with a copy of their new album. That's dope. Shout out to the Licks. I'm gonna have Nashawn on IG Live later on today in a few hours and shit. Probably this afternoon. Later this afternoon. But yeah, Millennium Thug. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, The Real Gully TV. I'm going to interview him on my other platform, Gully TV World on Instagram. That's where all my interviews be at on live. He said Texas going through it. They be all right. Everybody get a taste. There's some people been getting that cold weather their whole life. There's people that died in that shit. Everybody get a taste. 360 degrees. That's how it works. He said the Licks discovered by Rick Ross. Rick Ross who? I know you ain't talking about Rose. He said if it wasn't for you having a documentary about Haitian Jack, they wouldn't have contacted him. Sucks he prevented you from getting that light. He didn't prevent me from getting that light. He can't, that shit ain't going, it's not going to be fire without me. They should have called me. For the sake of the public, Jack, for the sake of the public, you should have said, go over there and talk to that nigga Gully TV. That's what you should have did. That's what you should have did. That's the truth. You dig? But in totality, the people behind that camera, this is the difference. The differences that ultimately me and Jack had. He was telling me to do something with my platform. I don't think he was telling the people at FX what to do. I don't think he was telling them what to do and shit like that. He did straight like that. Ain't nothing else need to be said. I don't think he was telling them, yo, I don't like this. Take this off of FX. You know what I mean? So my story is more interesting. I slept in the boogeyman's house for 3 days. I smoked weed in his house. Lizards was running across my feet. You dig what I'm saying? Fly ass, just flawless. Some shit for a king. He said King T and Freeway said it. Oh, you talking about Freeway from the west side. I thought you was talking about Rose. I'm like, yeah, that can't be possible. The Licks was out before him. You interview people first, then everybody piggyback off your content. He said you black, so he tried it. Exactly. Exactly. He tried his gorilla because this is what he do. This is what he do. He tried it. So he said, "Oh man, can't fuck with no lizards. When you go on them islands, man, they lizards is like I don't know. They just everywhere. They running everywhere. These little motherfuckers and shit." Good morning to everybody. Like this video. Goddamn, it's almost 300 people here this morning. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. He said Rick Ross is like 8 months old when the licks was out. I'm watching it tonight. I want to see more. I want to see more. I want to see more. Oh. This is the highlight of that whole fucking show. Y'all ready for this? This is the highlight of the whole Hip Hop Uncovered. Bimmy being on Joan Rivers and the B-Boy stance with Run DMC. You can't top that ever in life. Nobody can top that. No drug guy, no drug boy, no story, gangster story can ever top that moment. Bimmy was on Joan Rivers and the B-Boy stance was with Run DMC and Jam Master Jay, a Supreme Team member. I seen that. That changed the way I know this nigga. I called him on the phone, FaceTime. I know this nigga. When I seen that shit, I said, God damn. I said, God damn, man. You know, and listen, right? The way that they depicted it, even though he was Bimmy, he still was like in awe and shit of, you know, the whole movement and shit. Like, even though these was his niggas, he like, yo, D, can I go on the road with y'all? He like, hell yeah, nigga, you Bimmy. That nigga was on Joan Rivers, man. Like, you can't top that. You can't. While the team was on top, yeah. You can't fucking top that. Run DMC. He said, Bimmy looked like he was the fourth member of the group. Them niggas was kicking that shit, man. That was the highlight of that fucking last night. Bimmy and the B-Boy stance on Joan Rivers. He said, Bimmy said he changed his life. He's a cool nigga, man. He a real cool nigga. Yeah. Subscribe to the channel. Good morning to everybody that's here. Make sure y'all follow me on IG. I'm interviewing Nashawn today. Millennium Thug. Boom, boom, boom. Man said, R.I.P. Joan Rivers. I don't know what's going on with Haitian Jack. I'm watching the shit unfold just like everybody else. I know he's enjoying this shit. I know he's enjoying his celebrity on internet. When they start out, gangsters, they be like a little bit reserved or hesitant to give you the whole story and all the details and shit like that. They still be like a little bit protective. After them niggas done been on the internet for about 3 months and feel that shit, it change them 100%. They be a totally different person. All the attention is crazy. But subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get the notifications. Hold on. I'm out of here. I'm gonna holler at y'all in a minute.